Alright guys, welcome back to my YouTube video, and in today's video I'm going to tell you about Linkedlist. I know a lot of people have struggled about how to program, but I would like you all to know learning the programming language is very different from able to use that same programming language to provide a solution, and that solution will be in the form of code, and that code needs to be built by yourself, and that building mechanism happens when you know about data structures. So that is how it goes. So if you want to build something, you have to understand the small blocks of what you're trying to build, and data structures will really help you to go there. And now I hope you all guys know about object oriented programming, because those are the very basics of what you need to know in the Python programming language. So I have called a class here named robot, and I have used a constructor def in it, and it has the following features or attributes or parameters, you can call it anything. And the robot needs to have a name and a color. So when I create an instance of that class, so it has the name Robbie and it has the color pink. So I have instantiated another robot too, and it has the name of Clank and red. And when I hit okay, so it's throwing me an error because I haven't done something like self.height. So in that case, we'll just hit a parameter for height and write, let's give it a height of 180 centimeters, and for this one let's give it 200 centimeters, because yeah, why not. If I hit enter, and if I do something like trying to print the height of my robot, so it should yield me 180. Yeah, there you go. And linked list basically operates through nodes. And hit Google and do linked list and go to images. As you can see here, this one's a linked list. Why is it called a linked list? Because it has a node, and the node has a value and an empty space to store an address, and it is called next. So this node here stores a value, and then in this empty block it has the address of the next node. So here's the point of confusion where a lot of people struggle. So this whole node has an address of its own, which is very different from the value it holds, because in the computer's memory, this whole thing right here, the 36, which is a node that's having a value and an address, it needs to be stored at a different location, right? So that location is going to be in this empty slot here. So what happens is, since this one is storing the address of the next node, so that means this one's linked to this, and in the similar fashion this one's linked to this, and this one's linked to this, and this one's linked to this. So that is how the linking happens. That's why it's called a linked list. And there's another thing called as head and tail. So what's head and tail? In your linked list, the first node that's actually present in your linked list is pointed through a head. So what happens if you don't have a head or tail? So head or tail are basically a very important nodes or pointers. Actually they are pointers, not nodes. They happen to just inform you about where is your first node is present, because your memory is like a huge bunch of stuff that holds different things simultaneously. So it's better if you have a head pointer, you can just say self, because like I said, we use self when you are defining a class and etc. And head points to the first node, and in that way you can just say self.head, and that automatically means this value because it's already pointing to the first node of your linked list. Yeah, that's how it goes. And so here we have actually created a node that stores a value, and the next is none, because in the initial state when there are no links here, all you need to do is instantiate this node that has a value and has an empty address, because it's not linked to another nodes in your linked list, right? And then self dot node equal to node, self dot tail equal to node. So what you do is, when you have your first node, your head points to that node and your tail also points to that node. So because there is only one node, your head is the same as the tail. But when you start adding it, your head points to the first node, but your tail points to 36. That's how it goes. So this one is how you instantiate your linked list, part of this code. And self dot head equal to node and self dot tail equal to node. But since you are having one node in your current linked list, the self dot length equal to 1, and then you try to print your linked list. So this is how it goes. If self dot length equal to 0, you are just printing it is empty, the linked list is empty. But in another situation where your linked list is not empty, you are having a temp pointing to the self dot head. So that means you have temp also pointing to self dot head, because self dot head is already pointing to the first node, temp points to the first node. And what happens is we try to iterate while temp is not none. So in here the temp is going to be none because there is no another node here that's storing the address in this place here. So since this part here is none, as it is not pointing to any, the loop tries to continue and we try to loop. So while temp is not none, so temp is not none here, so it tries to print this value and then it passes to the next, and temp is not none here, so it passes to the next, and that's how the while loop goes. So that's how you print the elements in your linked list.